Good afternoon, keepers of the cash, or should I say, good evening, because it is now 8:45 at night. I've tried to shoot this Savage Saturday comic review 34 three different times and keep getting called to work. Hopefully, I get through it this time. I'm done trying to restart it. But Savage Saturday comic review 34. And today we are reviewing issue number 57 with the 25-cent goodness on it. Awesome Gil Kane cover. And this is one of those oddball issues where it's a filler issue, but it's a filler issue where Conan is the most Conan all the way through, and it's just absolutely glorious. And it has a different artist in it, which is another reason I wanted to highlight this issue. This is an issue drawn by Mike Klug on the interiors. So whenever you have something different, like I did the Neil Adams one, this is a Mike Klug one, so I wanted to do that. There's a Jim Starlin one too, which we'll get to, and we'll do that as well. I always think it's interesting to see a different artist take on Conan, especially those great classic artists that Marvel just had in spades. So the name of this one is Incident in Argos. And it's not so much a tale as just a folly of errors throughout this whole issue for poor Conan, who just finds himself in one thing after another. And this issue is kind of a bridge from the last issue to the very next issue, 58, when we get the introduction to Belit. But let's talk about it. All right, so Conan is arriving in Mysantia, which is the capital of Argos, and he's arriving with two companions he's been traveling with. All right, Yusuf and Argosian, and Tara and the Median, and they're lovers, and they've been together. And Conan's kind of taking them under his wing, and he's protecting them, and he's traveling with them, and they're his companions. All right, written by Roy Thomas, of course. So they arrive in Mysantia because Conan is there to lend his sword to battle and be a sellsword. He heard there's a war brewing between them and another state, and Conan wants in on that, and that's how he wants to earn his coin for his purse. His coin is starting to run low, and he needs to work again. He doesn't want to go back to thievery. Once they enter the city, though, Conan is... he's just perfect. All right, he's in the city. He's trying to ask this guy a simple question, and the guy gets wise with him, tells him to bite his tongue, Outlander. And he just got Conan saying, "Watch your mouth, Argosian." And he gives him a good tiny whooping. So it's fun. He drums the information out of him that he needs, and then he tells him to go back to his kennel like a good civilized dog. And it's just Conan at Conan's best. And this issue is flush with that kind of stuff. Just these pure Conan moments that you live to see this character be. And it's just great. But they're in there. He's hearing that the war has been averted and there's been trade and peace treaty signed. And he's like, oh, well, something else will come up. He doesn't want to get too upset about it. He's a mercenary. There'll be somewhere to sell his sword at some point. But this captain of the guard, of the King's Guard, and two other guards show up. And they're being pompous asses. And they push Conan's two young companions. The young woman they push into the mud, and the other guy they throw down. And Conan gives all three of them a round whooping, and it's just hilarious. And I'm going to show you the pictures over here, and there's great, but some of this dialogue is just key perfect Conan. And let me see, I gotta find it because it's just so perfect. But anyway, one of the guys is drawing a sword on Conan. And Conan says, you draw an inch further, and you'll be eating that raw steel. And the guy backs down wisely. Yep, here it is. Well, Captain, what'll it be? Draw that sword 1 inch further, and you'll eat it raw. And just pure Conan, pure, pure savage. Letting the guy know, I'm the threat, you're not. Here's what's going to happen if you draw that blade. Absolutely love it. But we move on, and Conan knows after they get past these guards, Conan puts them all in their asses, and they're sitting there in the street. And, he didn't kill them. He could have, but, you know, he's a little bit more civilized than the civilized people sometimes. So he takes the two people, Yusuf and Tara, in his charge, and he goes and gets them disguises. He dresses her up, although she looks like a bit of a ruffian now. He dresses her up in fine garb. He's using the last of his money. And he dresses the other guy up kind of nobly, and that way they're in disguise and not recognizable by the city guards anymore. And Conan still needs some more work done on his armor. He needs a mail shirt. He needs some greaves. And he goes to meet this guy. The guy does good work, but on the way out of this guy's building, Conan's thinking about his misfortunes and how his money's almost gone, so his head's lost in thought. And he gets cold cocked from behind by these two guys who are working for a guy named Publio, who kidnaps people basically and sells them off for slavery. And so they have Conan. They think he's unconscious, but he's not. Conan heard them talk about coin, so he wants to be led where they're going, because he wants to get that coin. So he's playing the unconscious dumb. The whole time listening to their conversation. They get him to Publio's place, and they're trying to sell, and they sell him, and they're about to turn him over. He's being guided to the ship where they're going to force him into slavery as an oarsman. And Conan, of course, breaks free, and one of the guards dies, and Conan gets raked in the eyes, and the guy's death throes. And he throws the dead guard into one of the ship guys and makes his hasty retreat, dives into the water, and is hidden from them as they rush by in the street, past the part of the bay where he dove in. The guards that are looking for him see an old woman who tells him he went bleeding that way. And when he gets out, she invites him into her home, where she shows him visions of his future, visions of him as a pirate, him as a king. But she also shows him that his two charges that he's protecting are in peril at the local bar, and there's nothing he can do about it. The guard that he put on his ass earlier is in there, and he doesn't recognize the girl, and he goes up to make advances on her, not caring that she's with someone else. So Tara and Yusuf end up killing this guard, and then they're on the run. So Conan runs into the bar, not knowing that they've already made their retreat and escaped, and runs into a bar full of royal guards where he's apprehended. He's taken and locked up again, and he's held for this court, which is just a travesty. It's not a real court. It's them playing games until they sentence him. And this judge is known as the maiming judge. So you already know probably what your sentence is going to be going up in front of him. But in true Conan fashion, he defeats the two guards that are holding him. He says he won't be kept by civilized dogs anymore. Defeats them, grabs a sword, and butchers the guard that was going to have him killed right there. Great scene. I'll make sure you see it over here if I didn't already show it. Absolutely pure Conan. And he takes off, and he makes his mad dash out of the city, looking for the two people that were with him. They see him passing by and escaping, but they can't call out to him without bringing attention to themselves. And thus, our conclusion is here as Conan makes his way free out of the city on his way to a 3-year arc with Beileit, the love of Conan's life. Of course, later he becomes king and he weds Zenobia, but Beileit was always his first love and the woman he loved most overall. So, yes, a filler issue. Plot, not much. Wasn't about plot. It was about a misfortune of events befalling Conan, basically to set him free of the charges he has so he could meet Beileit in the next episode, in the next issue. So as a filler issue, let's rate this, right? Cover art by Gil Kane. A+. Gil Kane has been killing Conan covers for a while in these early runs. If you've been watching my short series of Conan Cover a Day, you'll see how much work Gil Kane actually did on Conan. He is a worthy Conan artist, and this cover is an A+ all around. Mike Ploog did great art inside. I'll give it an A. Every once in a while, I thought his Conan face was a little frumpy, but otherwise, fantastic issue. Fantastic art by Mike Ploog. And he also did his own inks, and a great, fun, adventurous issue. But what really shines in this issue is the characterization of Conan. Roy Thomas just nails Conan. He knows Robert E. Howard's character. He knows how Robert E. Howard wrote him, and he portrays him as such. He's savage, he's smart, and he's a survivor. And all those qualities of Conan are highlighted in this issue. And it's just one fun romp and a comedy of errors, one after another, although savagely so. All around, A+. Love this issue. If you got to read a filler issue, this is the type of filler issue you want to read because it's entertaining from page 1 to the end, cover to cover. Great read, great fun, great guest artist in Mike Ploog. A+ all around. Until next time, keep it casual.